Welcome to the 2025-2026 Cybersecurity Training. This training will help you understand common cyber threats so you can protect the organization as well as understanding our acceptable use policy and AI safety. The objectives of this training are straightforward but critically important. By the end of this session, you will have a solid understanding of key cybersecurity concepts and how they apply to your daily work. Things that you will learn are as follows. Why cybersecurity matters at Make the Road. How to recognize common cyber threats. Real examples of attacks at Make the Road that have occurred within the last 3 years. Best practices for protecting digital assets and sensitive information. We'll also review our acceptable use policy and AI usage policy to ensure everyone understands the expectations around responsible technology use. One last thing before we begin. You will be prompted questions based on the material. This training is being graded. Understanding your responsibilities as a user. Key terminology and acronyms. During this training, you may encounter terms and acronyms that are unfamiliar. Here are a few important ones to know. Starting with cybersecurity concepts. Social engineering. The practice of manipulating individuals into revealing confidential information. Insider threats, security risks that originate from within the organization. Endpoint protection, security software applied to end-user devices like laptops and smartphones. Antivirus software, programs that detect and remove malicious software, denial of service, DOS. Attacks that disrupt access to websites or online services. Next are some web and software terms. Pop-ups. Sudden windows or messages that appear while browsing or using software. Fake alerts, deceptive pop-ups designed to trick users into installing harmful software. Browser, software used to access websites such as Chrome, Firefox, Safari, or Edge. Browser extensions, add-ons that enhance browser functionality. Ad blockers, tools that prevent unwanted ads and reduce exposure to online threats. Macros, scripts embedded in Office documents, often used in cyber attacks. Some authentication and access terms include multi-factor authentication, MFA, is a security system requiring multiple forms of verification. Two-factor authentication, 2FA, is a type of MFA that adds a second step to the login process. Tenant, a dedicated instance of a cloud service, isolated for a specific organization. Internet terminology. Uniform Resource Locator, URL. The address used to access websites and online resources. Protocol, a set of rules that govern communication between your browser and a web server. Domain, the human-readable name of a server hosting a website. Privacy and compliance. PII, personally identifiable information, is data that can identify an individual, such as name, address, or social security number. EHR, electronic health records, are digital versions of patients' medical histories. HIPAA, Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, is an U.S. law that protects sensitive health information. Lastly, under emerging technology, we have AI, artificial intelligence. This technology that enables machines to simulate human intelligence. Human error is responsible for approximately 95% of cybersecurity breaches. This highlights how critical each individual's role is in protecting our organization from cyber threats. As users of our systems, we are the first line of defense. By consistently following cybersecurity best practices, we dramatically reduce the risk of attacks. This includes the following: adhering to security protocols such as strong password policies, using Make the Road equipment, not sharing accounts or passwords, and using multi-factor authentication, just to name a few. Staying vigilant against phishing emails, suspicious links, and any unusual system behavior. Protecting sensitive data by handling it responsibly and storing it securely. Reporting incidents promptly to IT to prevent escalation. Cybersecurity is not just an IT issue, but a shared responsibility. When we all stay informed, alert, and proactive, we help safeguard our organization's integrity, reputation, and operational success. Together, we can build a culture of trust, security, and resilience. Cybersecurity is extremely important, especially in the nonprofit area. At Make the Road, The IT department has spent a lot of time to ensure we have a safe and secure environment. So let's get into what is cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is defined as a set of principles and practices designed on protecting computer systems, networks, and data from malicious attacks to ensure security. Make the Road handles lots of sensitive data. From donor information, grants, financial records, strategic plans, member information, even your own information including your address and direct deposit. Cybersecurity helps safeguard this data by controlling who can access it and how it is stored and shared. Organizations like ours continue to face threats on a daily rate. You have seen them with phishing emails, scam text messages, and countless other attempts to gain access. Identifying common cyber threats. Let's take a look at some of the most common cyber threats that organizations like ours face. Starting with intrusion. Intrusion refers to an unauthorized attempt to access computer systems, either physically, by using a device without permission, or remotely, through the Internet. The goal is often to steal data or disrupt operations. Next up is phishing attacks. Phishing involves deceptive emails, text messages, or websites designed to trick users into revealing sensitive information, such as login credentials or financial data. Next, malware threats. Malware is malicious software created to damage, disrupt, or gain unauthorized access to computer systems and networks. Next up, ransomware. Ransomware is a type of malware that locks or encrypts data, demanding payment in exchange for restoring access. These attacks can severely impact operations and compromise sensitive information. Spyware are software or apps that secretly collects information from your device and sends it to a third party without your knowledge or consent. Spam are unsolicited messages sent in bulk, often to mailing lists or groups. Spam messages can clutter inboxes and sometimes carry malicious links or attachments. A few key areas of cybersecurity we focus on are as follow. Protection of sensitive data. In today's digital era, we store and process vast amounts of sensitive data, including but not limited to personal information for both staff and members. This can include financial records and other sensitive information. Prevention of financial loss. Cyber attacks can lead to significant financial losses. Breaches can result in theft of funds, disruption of operations, and costly recovery efforts. Not to mention the loss of grants and funding for programs our members rely on. Safeguarding our reputation and trust. A data breach or cyber incident can severely damage our organization's reputation and erode trust from funders, members, and our community. Compliance with regulations. Many industries have specific regulations and legal requirements governing the protection of sensitive data. Compliance with cybersecurity standards and regulations, such as New York Shield Act and HIPAA, Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, is crucial to avoid legal consequences and financial penalties. Mitigation of operational disruption. Cyber attacks, such as ransomware or denial-of-service attacks, can disrupt operations, leading to significant downtime, productivity losses, and reputational damage. Based off reports from LinkedIn, there are roughly 1,925 attacks per organization per week. Cyber attacks surged by 47% year-over-year, with nearly 2,000 weekly attacks hitting each organization on average in early 2025. Basically, every 30 seconds, a cyber attack is attempted. This is very much in part due to the rise of automated scanning tools and AI-driven threats. Healthcare remains the top target for ransomware, with 92% of healthcare organizations reporting attacks in the last year. Ransomware in this sector increased by 45%, making it the most targeted industry. 84% of targeted attacks use email as the entry point. Email-based threats, including phishing and malware, continue to be the primary method of attack for both organizations and individuals. 30 days was the average downtime after a ransomware attack. Recovery from ransomware is still slow, with organizations facing roughly a month of disruption after an incident. In May 2024, Ascension Health, one of the largest non-profit healthcare systems in the U.S., was hit by a ransomware attack that disrupted operations across 140 hospitals in 19 states. The breach was traced back to a contractor who clicked a malicious link, allowing attackers to infiltrate Ascension's network and deploy ransomware. There were a few things that went wrong. Starting with human error, a single click on a phishing email led to the widespread system compromise. Second was an insufficient security control. The attackers gained privileged access due to weak internal safeguards. A delayed detection led to the malware spread before containment measures were activated. Things that broken down in their operations included access to their electronic health records, phone systems, and lab services were shut down, forcing staff to revert to pen and paper documentation. But most importantly was the data breach. With over 5.6 million patient records being exposed, including very sensitive health and personal information. Let's be clear on how this impacted Ascension Health. Emergency services were diverted. Non-emergency procedures were postponed. Ascension suffered over $1.8 billion in losses in fiscal year of 2024. A class action lawsuit was filed, alleging negligence in cybersecurity practices. Simple mistakes can lead to major ramifications. Let's touch back on cyber threats, starting with intrusions. Here are a few best practices to help avoid intrusions. First one is a simple yet often overlooked. Using unique and strong passwords. Using unique and strong password for different website helps prevent all your accounts getting compromised. Many times, a scammer or hacker will try your password on other websites. The use of multi-factor authentication or MFA, aka two-step verification, is next. The use of MFA enhances the security of an account. If your password gets compromised, a scammer still needs that second code to gain access. Securing and locking your computer. Leaving your computer unlocked, even for a moment, can expose sensitive data to unauthorized access. Whether you're in the office or working remotely, an unattended device is a security risk. Always lock your computer when stepping away, even briefly. Lastly, never share your credentials. This also includes leaving your passwords on stickies on your computer. Every employee must use their own unique login to access a computer. Every employee must use their own email and have proper access to organizational data. Sharing your credentials, even with a trusted coworker, is a major security violation. Shared logins also make it impossible to track accountability. Thus, if your credentials are misused, you are responsible for everything that happens for sharing your credentials. Phishing attacks are some of the most common threats we face often. Looking at the diagram, it starts with a scammer sending a phishing email to a user. The user opens the email and clicks on a link or opens an attachment. Some of these links will look like a DocuSign or other website that requires you to log in. As the user unknowingly enters their credentials on the fake website, the scammer is collecting that information. Thus, the scammer uses those credentials to access the legitimate website. They will also try it out on other websites, as oftentimes people use the same passwords for all their accounts. Just another reason why not to do that. This is why it is important you think before you click. Most scams happen in the blink of an eye. Phishing attacks use familiarity to attempt to trick you. This is why you need not rush to click on links and attachments. Look for the red flags. You will see some examples of real phishing emails and text messages that have been sent to some employees of Make the Road. There are several giveaways for most phishing emails, like email address, different phone numbers, the nature of the message of itself. Here are the 3 areas to look for. Starting with email address. Many times, you will see a name of someone you know, but upon further inspection, the email is not correct. Next, look at the content. If someone emails you with a request that is outside the normal, or the message is asking you to open a document which asks you to enable macros or add-ons. Lastly, always check links. Moving your mouse over a link on an email will tell you where that link is trying to take you to. If you want to confirm if the message is real, use an alternative method to contact the person. But most importantly, report the suspicious message. That said, if you don't trust the email or can't verify yourself, then reach out to our wonderful IT department. It is better to be safe than sorry. Here is our first real example. This email was sent from a fake Robert. We can see that the email is a generic Gmail. Second, in most cases you will get a red or yellow banner warning you. Lastly, the content of this message is out of the normal type request that Robert would make. Here is another example of a phishing email attempt. First giveaway is the email. Second is the request. It is important that all staff, including interns, use an official Make the Road email address. Here is an example of a text message. In a normal case, Sienna's phone would be the biggest flag if you know Sienna's phone number. Content of the message is actually the biggest red flag, as the request is straight out of the Scam 101 playbook. Here is an example of a Dropbox email. While I hid the email address, everything looks normal. Moving your mouse over the link reveals that the destination isn't Dropbox. While the Dropbox.com name does appear, it is a directory inside this fake website. Just to further illustrate a website structure, domain name always follows the protocol. Anything after the / following the domain is a directory inside that website. Pulling the example from before, we know that the real website for Dropbox is Dropbox.com. Based on the link above, you can see the Dropbox.com is a subdirectory to fake-scam-website.dk. Scammers include the website to simply trick you, plus some web browsers won't display the entire website and only show the end part. It's important to look out for these types of scams. Next, let's learn about malware. Malware often relies on human error, as they mostly need your input to install. Stay informed and cautious. Most importantly, report anything unusual to IT immediately. Only install software from trusted vendors or official app stores. Avoid clicking on pop-ups offering free downloads or updates. Be cautious with email attachments. Never open unexpected attachments, especially from unknown senders. Even familiar senders can be compromised. Verify if something seems off. Avoid suspicious websites. Don't visit sites flagged as unsafe or that look suspicious. Use browser security features and ad blockers to reduce exposure. You may have seen some of these screens. These are all fake alerts. They are designed to scare you into installing harmful software or calling a scammer. It goes without saying, do not click on these alerts or call any phone numbers they provide. Instead, contact the Make the Road IT department immediately. Your caution helps protect our systems and data, and we are here to assist when needed. Ransomware attacks is the practice in which a scammer holds data hostage, demanding payment to restore access to systems or files. A ransomware attack often occurs when someone makes an error opening software or links. As always, report anything unusual to IT immediately. Many ransomware attacks use malicious macros in Word or Excel documents. Never enable macros unless absolutely necessary. Installing software is limited on all Make the Road computers to avoid malicious software from being run. Should be noted, never pay the ransom, as paying a ransom does not guarantee you will get access to your files. It is risky. Having an endpoint protection is vital. This is why you should only use a Make the Road provided computers, as they protected with an enterprise-level antivirus software, and it is constantly receiving updates to ensure security. Spyware, once again, are software that secretly collects information from your device and sends it to a third party without your knowledge or consent. Always monitor for unusual behavior. Slow performance, pop-ups, or strange network activity may be an indication that your web traffic is being spied or monitored. Be mindful of Chrome and Edge extensions. Some extensions may contain code that enables developers to monitor your web activity. In the past, there have been extensions that have been updated with malicious code. This is why you should regularly audit installed extensions. Many times, users install add-ons without realizing. Remove any unused or unnecessary extensions. Here is how to check on both Microsoft Edge and Google Chrome. Open either browser. You should check both even if you only use one of them, as you never know if you by accident installed an add-on before switching internet browsers. On Edge, click on the three dots menu on the top right. Click on Extensions. This will display a list of extensions currently installed. On Chrome, click on the three dots on the top right. Click on Extensions, then Manage Extensions. On Edge, click on the three dots next to the extension, and click Remove from Microsoft Edge. On Chrome, Just click on the Remove button to delete the extension. If you have any issues, please contact IT. Spam emails are unsolicited messages sent in bulk, often to mailing lists or groups. Spam can clutter inboxes and sometimes carry malicious links or attachments. It is important that you do not interact with spam messages. Never click links, download attachments, or even reply to spam emails. Even unsubscribing from a spam message can sometimes confirm your address is active. Use Gmail's unsubscribe option or mark as spam. Protect your email address. Avoid posting your work email publicly online. Use separate email addresses for subscriptions or public-facing activities. Good example is our awesome comms teams have external emails for media and website-related matters. Be cautious with unknown senders. If an email looks suspicious or unexpected, verify the sender before engaging. Look for misspellings, strange formatting, or generic greetings. Note, if it's an email that is already in your spam folder, there's a high chance it's spam. Look at all the clues like email address and content to determine or confirm it is. Here is one last example to wrap up the threats section. This email was sent to a director. This director was unsure if this was legit, so they sent it to the IT team. We first looked at the email, took the domain and threw it into a private browser. We did get an alert about being unsecure, but we pressed forward as it wasn't a warning but a caution alert. To our surprise, we ended up at a real website and business. However, the website was a bit different as ending of the domain was .io instead of .com. This raised a flag in our eyes. During an IT check-in, it was Emmanuel Ortiz from the IT department who caught the giveaway that this was indeed a scam email. The email address has an extra L between financial and fusion. The scammer is using a domain that is similar to the real website. They even made it go to the real website to further attempt to trick our end user. This just shows how far a scammer will go to steal money, information, identities, anything that is worth something. If you aren't sure if an email is safe or trustworthy, like it's been mentioned, reach out to the amazing IT team at Make the Road to verify. Incident management. The importance of prompt reporting helps reduce damage and allows quick initiation of response actions in cybersecurity incidents. To break down incident reporting, it is the process of identifying, documenting, and responding to security incidents such as data breaches, malware attacks, or unauthorized access. It is important to remember that we work with very sensitive data and we are responsible for safety and protection of that information. Reporting incidents helps the organization build better safeguards and minimize any possible damage that can result from an incident. One of the goals of incident reporting is to empower employees with a clear understanding of reporting procedures. This enables you to act responsibly and swiftly against any and all potential threats. Who do you reach out to if you have or think you have fallen victim to a scam or a hack or a data breach? Take a few minutes to review this list as each item does require the notification of certain teams. Like, if you think a member information was leaked, you would let the executive team and directors of organizing know as soon as possible. If you have issues with online banking, you would get the finance team. In the event of a data breach, the Make the Road IT department will take immediate action to contain and mitigate the threat. This includes identifying and isolating affected systems to prevent further spread, investigating the source of the breach to understand how it occurred and what data may have been compromised, working with vendors to secure the data/network, notifying leadership and insurance company. Hopefully you included them in your message to IT if you emailed. Coordinating with external authorities if required, such as law enforcement or regulatory bodies. Communicating with staff to provide guidance and updates. Implementing recovery plans, including restoring data from backups and strengthening security measures to prevent future incidents. The IT team's goal is to protect sensitive information, minimize downtime, and ensure we are fully secure and operational. Policies and responsibilities. Let's start with the information security responsibility and confidentiality. Everyone who is employed, doing an internship or volunteering with Make the Road is responsible for following proper IT security to ensure the protection of information and resources over which they have access to. These resources also include Make the Road physical network, computers, software, and most importantly its data. These resources must be protected against threats such as unauthorized intrusions, malicious misuse, or inadvertent compromise. Any activities outsourced to external entities must also comply with the same security requirements. Some highlights for our acceptable use policy include the following. Secure access practices. Sharing login credentials for the following email, computer, databases, data storage is prohibited to maintain system security and protect organizational data. Anyone working for Make the Road must be using their own individual accounts. Email communication. All work-related communication must be conducted using only organizational email accounts. The use of personal email account is strictly forbidden. Software installation restrictions. Staff is restricted from installing unauthorized applications. All applications require IT consent. Appropriate resource use. Make the Road resources must not be used for personal financial gain or accessing inappropriate content. Resources provided are for use of the mission of the organization. For questionable material, please ensure to get approval from your department director. Email policy highlights. Emails are designed as a means of official communication. The use of your email is strictly for organizational purposes only. TODOS email communication. If you have come across an important piece of information to share with TODOS, please first share it with the staff leaders who handle that area of work. This helps minimize confusing email traffic and ensure consistency in the information we all receive. Sharing sensitive data/confidential information. If you need to transmit sensitive data/information, you must obtain approval from the data owner and/or any party included for this before transmitting data. Data must also be sent via an encrypted method. If you are emailing something extremely confidential, assume that it might end up becoming public information. When you are emailing government officials or agencies, remember that their emails can become public under Freedom of Information law requests, so they are extra sensitive. Equipment policy highlights. All staff are provided equipment to ensure to can do their job functions. If a user requires additional equipment for their work, they must notify their direct supervisor and IT. The use of personal computers is strictly forbidden. Let me repeat that. You cannot in any way use your personal computer for organizational work. Here are a few major reasons why. Let's start with our cyber insurance policy, which requires that staff use Make the Road managed computer. If a breach or hack occurs on a personal device, insurance coverage will be denied. This could leave Make the Road financially and legally exposed. Security and compliance. Personal devices lack required security controls, e.g., encryption, antivirus, access logging. IT cannot monitor or secure personal hardware to the same standard as organizational equipment. Using a personal computer for organization work could void our cyber insurance and put the entire organization at risk. Equipment security. Here are a few key items that go into our equipment security. Encryption. All Make the Road laptops are encrypted. This ensures that if a device is lost or stolen, the data remains protected and inaccessible to unauthorized users. Enterprise antivirus protection. Our devices are equipped with enterprise-grade antivirus software. Without antivirus, a Windows device faces a 30 to 50% chance of malware infection annually. Limited administrative privileges. Most malware requires elevated privileges to install or spread. By restricting admin access, we reduce the risk of unauthorized software and system changes. Atera Remote Management. Atera allows the IT team to monitor, update, and support your device remotely. This also ensures timely patching, threat detection, and secure configuration, even when you're off-site. With the rise of generative AI usage, Make the Road has created the following policy to ensure AI usage is used safe and secure. Let's start with the approved use cases of generative AI tools. AI can be used for brainstorming ideas. You can do this without sharing or entering any type of privileged or confidential information. Example of that type of data is PII, personally identifiable information or intellectual documentation. Another use case is drafting textual content for Make the Road's internal purposes. The prohibited use cases include the following. No fully automated use without human oversight or intervention. AI cannot independently create external-facing work products, no marketing materials, no legal documents. All generated materials must be reviewed for accuracy and confidentiality. Lastly, seek approval from the IT director or legal directors if uncertain about an unlisted or unsure use case. Key points to remember about AI. AI can have reliability and potential bias issues. AI raises confidentiality issues. AI might be creating intellectual property issues. All data being processed can be a cybersecurity risk. Lastly, professional conduct and ethics issues in regards to AI usage. Reliability and potential bias issues. AI uses existing data to generate new content. It is important that you do the following. Independent verification. Users must independently verify the accuracy and truthfulness of AI-generated outputs before relying on them. Be aware of inaccuracies. Generative AI tools can produce responses that are inaccurate, misleading, or entirely false. Users should approach outputs with critical thinking. Bias in training data. AI systems may reflect biased, inappropriate, or culturally insensitive content due to the nature of their training data. Outdated information. AI outputs may be based on data that is no longer current, as training datasets are not continuously updated. Use of personal judgment. As with the first point, users must apply personal judgment and seek independent confirmation to ensure the relevance, accuracy, and appropriateness of AI-generated content. Intellectual property issues. Understanding the risk of copyright infringement. AI tools may generate content that unintentionally violates copyright laws or intellectual property rights. It is best to use AI as a creative starting point. AI-generated content should be treated as a stylistic or conceptual foundation, not as final work. Always refine and personalize outputs. Caution in formal content creation. Avoid relying solely on AI tools for producing essays, speeches, presentations, or marketing materials without thoroughly verifying the originality and reliability of the content. Understanding confidentiality issues. AI prompts may be reviewed. Developers may review user prompts and queries to improve AI algorithms. Assume that inputs are not private. Avoid handling sensitive information. Generative AI tools should not be used to process, store, or share confidential or proprietary data. Treat inputs as public. Always treat your queries and inputs as if they could be publicly visible, similar to posting on social media. In case you need a definition of confidential information. Confidential data includes personally identifiable information, PII, organizational plans, internal procedures, and other sensitive materials. Understanding cybersecurity risks when utilizing AI. AI tools can introduce new cybersecurity vulnerabilities, especially when interacting with external platforms or sharing sensitive data. Users should be aware of the following risks. An increased exposure to cyber threats. AI platforms may be targeted by malicious actors seeking to exploit system weaknesses or user data. Use only approved AI tools. The use of AI should be limited to only approved tools. If you are using another platform, you must stop using it immediately, as using those platforms opens a security risk. Be cautious with links and downloads. AI-generated links or downloadable content may pose risks. Always verify the source before clicking or downloading anything. Limit data sharing. Do not input sensitive, personal, or proprietary information into AI tools regardless if you are certain of the platform's security and data privacy policies. Currently, the only authorized AI tool for use is Microsoft Copilot Enterprise Edition. Do not use the personal free edition. Our tenant of Copilot features Enterprise Data Protection. When you are logged into Enterprise Copilot, you will see a green shield on the top right corner. This ensures our data isn't being used to outside our own tenant and that we control what is stored and used. This just adds another layer of keeping data private and sensitive data safe and secure. Note, you do have to watch and sign an agreement before we activate Copilot for your account. To access the secure version of Copilot, you need to use your computer login. This brings us to the end of the training. The IT team is available to answer any and all questions. Please note, you must click Submit to ensure you get credit for this training. You can do so by clicking on the email button on the top right. Thank you for watching, and until next year's training, safe computing.